All right, this will be for the triangle congruence worksheet. So there are two sets of 18 problems here. Okay, so it's 1 through 18 with the drawings or diagrams, and then it's 1 through 18, fill in the blank. And for the first section, the 1 through 18, these are the possible answers right here. Okay, so you can write SSS, or SAS, ASA, AAS, or if you can't prove it, you can just write not congruent. All right, none of these are right triangles, so we will not be using hypotenuse leg for this exercise. So it's either one of these four, or it's not congruent if you can't prove it. All right, the instructions say for each pair of triangles, state the postulate or theorem that can be used to conclude that the triangles are congruent. All right, let's look at number 1. So you see here we have two triangles, and you see this side right here is shared by the triangle on the left and on the right. Okay, so since that side is shared by both triangles, I am going to mark that side congruent to itself. Okay, I use 2 notches because they already use 1 notch right here. All right, and we can see up top right here, this angle matches this angle. So if we go in order, we have side, angle, side. Side, angle, side. Notice the angle is in between the two sides that are congruent. So that's going to be SAS, side, angle, side. See, the angle is in between, the A is in between the two S's, just like this angle is in between the two sides that are congruent. All right, let's look at number 3. Notice on number 3, we have this X shape right here. We have this line segment and this line segment right here. So when you have the X shape like that, you can mark the angles across from each other congruent. This one matches this one. Okay, they already used the 1 arc for these angles here. So now with the vertical angles, I am going to mark it with 2 marks. All right, so those angles are congruent because they are vertical. And now, if I can clean this up, let's see what we have here. All right, going in order, notice the side right here matches this side right here. And we have angle, side, angle. And on the other triangle, angle, side, angle. Notice the side is in between the two angles. So you abbreviate that A, S, A. See, the S is between the two A's. The S represents the side, and the side is between the two angles. So that's why it's ASA. So always remember when you see that X shape, mark the vertical angles congruent. Okay, and just like number 1, when you see the side that's shared by both triangles, mark that side congruent to itself. All right, let's look at number 9. See, we have 2 triangles here, and this side is shared by both triangles. Okay, so I'm going to mark that side congruent to itself. We already used 1 notch and 2 notches, so right here on this side, I'm going to use 3 notches. All right, so I mark that side congruent to itself. And now looking at both triangles, we have side, side, side. And the other triangle, side, side, side. We basically have 3 sides on each triangle. So that is abbreviated S, S, S for the 3 sides on each triangle. All right, let's look at number 16. We see the two triangles here. We see this side is shared by both the triangle on the top and the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to mark this congruent to itself. Notice there's no other sides marked congruent, so we can just use one notch to mark that side congruent to itself. And now if we look at the top triangle, we have angle, angle, side. And same with the bottom, angle, angle, side. Notice the side is not in between the two angles that are congruent. Okay, if this side was right here, it would be angle, side, angle. But that's not what we have. This side is not in between the two angles. So we write that as AAS, angle, angle, side. Okay, you don't want to write SAA. Even though it seems like it's the same thing, you don't want to write that, okay? It's AAS. And really, the order does not matter as long as the side is not in between the two angles. If the side was over here, it would still be angle, angle, side. Okay, as long as the side is not in between, then it's going to be AAS. All right, otherwise, if the side was right here, it would be ASA. But that's not what we have. Now, in the second section, for each set of triangles above, complete the triangle congruent statement. All right, so we have to complete the statement. Now, each of these problems, 1 through 18, corresponds to the same number diagram in part 1. All right, we just have to use what they started with and trace the triangles the same way. All right, so let's see. Let's look at problem number 1. All right, they start with FIG. So let's go to the diagram for number 1 and trace FIG. Let's check it out. All right, I'm going to erase this mess here other than the one I marked congruent in the middle. I want to keep that. All right. But let's erase this mess here. And now what we're going to do, number 1 on the bottom started with FIG. So I want to do that, trace the triangle from F to I to G. So let's start at F, then go to I, then go to G. Okay, and now on the other side, I am going to trace it the same way. So I'm going to go from H to I to G. All right. So it's basically like a mirror image. I went FIG, and then on this one, I went HIG. So you want to trace them both the same way. In case you're confused, see, I went past the side with no markings, and then I went past the side with 2 markings. So you do the same here. I went past the side with no marks, and then I went past the side with 2 marks. So number 1 on the second part is going to be HIG. All right, number 1 on the second part, you just write HIG. Okay, they already have the congruent symbol. They already have the triangle symbol, so you just write the 3 letters. All right, number 3, we have A, B, C. So let's go to problem diagram number 3 and trace A, B, C. All right, here's number 3. Let's erase this mess here. Other than the vertical angles, let's leave those marked congruent. All right, and what did we say for number 3? We said we were going to trace A, B, C. All right, so let's trace A, B, C. Here's A, B, C. So if we start at A, go to B, and then go to C. Notice we started at the angle with no mark, then we went to the angle with 1 mark, and then we went to the angle with 2 marks. So do the same thing over here. This angle has 1 mark. This angle has 2 marks. Start at the one with no mark. So we're going to start at this angle here. It has no mark. And then we go to 1, just like this one went to 1. And then we go to 2, just like this one went to 2. So we go here, and then we go to 2. So that's going to be D, E, C in that order. D, E, C. All right, so this one, see, it's flip-flopped. This triangle is upside down versus that triangle. So the arrow didn't go quite the same way, so I just went by the angles. So DEC is the answer for number 3 in the second part. All right, number 3 is going to be DEC. All right, number 9, let's do KLM. Let's look at the diagram for number 9. All right, here's number 9. Let's erase the markings except for the side that I marked congruent. All right, and we said KLM. All right, KLM. So trace that first. KLM. All right, we went past the side with 2 marks, and then we went past the side with 1 mark. Do the same thing here. I'm going to go past the side with 2 marks, and then past the side with 1 mark. So that's going to be MJK. Okay, again, if you didn't see it, this is what they gave us. So I drew in the arrow, went past the 2, and then I went past the 1. Same thing here, past the 2, and then past the 1. MJK. So that is number 9, MJK. All right, number 9, MJK. All right, last one was number 16. All right, we're going to do NOP. Let's look at number 16 diagram. All right, here's number 16. Leave that side marked congruent, and I'm going to start with NOP. So that's the one on top. Here's NOP. So I'm going to go like that, and then like that. All right, I started at the 1, and then I went to the angle with 2, and then I went to the angle with none. Same thing on the bottom. Start at the 1, then go to the 2, then go to the angle with nothing. So that's going to be NQP. All right, NQP. So that's the answer for the second part of number 16. Trace them both the same way. All right, so number 16, NQP.